Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 18th episode of the Jake and Kevin Show.
It's showtime.
I have a plethora of knowledge.
I don't think so.
Drake?
Jake, hit him with that freestyle.
Hey, what are you guys doing?
Drake?
You're not listening hard enough.
With simple.
Guys, you're still in the dream.
No, it's just because you're stupid. Yeah, it's because what you're saying doesn't make any sense. Why you think your dude's been in the bathroom for so long? Yeah, he's not taking a poop. He's hiding from you. I mean, seriously, guys, we gotta take our jokes a little bit better, right? Yeah, don't take yourself too seriously, guys. Come on. I mean, look what happened with the Oscars. Like, don't take yourself too seriously. It's just jokes, okay?
Hey, she's a broad. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, okay, you know what? Yeah, take your best shot at me. Go ahead. Watch. Take your best shot at me. Try to really dig deep. Go ahead.
You're short.
Yeah. I mean, come on. That's really... Yeah, see, I mean, that's why I'm up here and you're down there. Whatever. All right, come on. Let's get on with the show, guys. What's up, guys? Nice to be back, you know. 1 week. Back-to-back weeks. That's pretty cool. Give you guys a quick update. Jake turned down our offer from last week. He just said that it's something that didn't make sense for him right now. It just wasn't something that he was willing to prioritize. So again, this week is going to be another solo episode. I mean, it's kind of getting to the point where what's the point in even doing this? Because it's the Jake and Kevin show, and I mean, right now this is the 4th episode where it's just the Kevin show. It's just not as fun. I mean, and sorry guys, I really try to ham it up for you, but it's just not the same. Yeah. Oh, one thing that I wanted to touch on. So I remember the last episode, I wasn't really happy where I ended it, how I ended it. Just kind of felt like I was going on a rant. I didn't have my words in order. And I was talking about flashback. I was trying to give advice, and pretty much my sentiment was, oh, you need to make your own mistakes. And I mean, my advice was, don't, advice is cool, but you need to make your own mistakes. But yeah, it took me like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to spit it out, and I wasn't really happy where it was. So after that episode came out, no. Not about after it came out. Wow, I just fell into deep thought. I got a lot of things going on right now, guys. I'm sorry. Me and Jake kind of designed this podcast, and we started doing this podcast is to kind of be an escapist kind of breath of fresh air, break from reality. But now it's like lately with everything, Jake's gone, and everything, it's like a snap back to reality. And it's like, there goes gravity. Hope we don't get a strike for that. Okay, so I recorded last week's episode on Friday. On Saturday, I went to my little cousin's high school graduation party, and it was cool to see my family. It's cool to see my cousins. It's cool to see my grandpa. That's not the point. It was cool to see my cousins. It was cool to see my family. It's cool to see my grandpa and grandma. I was trying to brush through that because just not that, but just so I wasn't like rambling and going on a tangent, but then I realized how disrespectful that sounded. So love you guys. Anyway, they they set up like they set up one of those little boxes for, oh, write your wishes and advice to the new grad for college, for life, etc. And the episode from last week, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It was a pretty good episode. I ended the episode. I still had the sentiment of what I was trying to get through from the last episode on my mind. So I was like, I have a little bit more time. I mean, the podcast isn't live. It's by no means live, but there's no cuts. It's raw, baby. So what you're seeing is what you get. What you're seeing is this. There's no, I mean, there is cuts actually, but there's no movie magic here. Okay, it's very minimal. It's raw. But when you have time to sit down and think about something, you think about it. You can like sit and write it down. You can put some thought into it. And it took me so long, and I honestly don't think I got it to a point where I wanted to get it. But here's what I came up with, and this isn't verbatim, but it's pretty close. A lot of people are gonna give you advice. Doesn't matter how good or bad the advice is, you won't listen to it. Not you personally. No one does. My advice to you is to make smart decisions, but when mistakes do happen, learn from them. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I said. Because here's the thing about advice. When you give advice, you know the power behind it because you know the context of it. You know, okay, I really messed up that situation. If I could go back, this is how I would do it. So when you see somebody going or approaching that situation, you want to say, whoa, 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 whoa. Here's what you need to do. But the person that you're telling that to has no context for what's about to happen to them. So your advice means effectively nothing. They could take it into account, but most likely they're going to see what you were talking about as it was happening to them, and then maybe they can ease the blow. But I mean, that's just, I mean, maybe I'm just talking generalities here. I'm talking for everybody. Maybe I'm talking out of turn, but that's what I've seen. I mean, that's kind of what I do. It just seems, especially young, like adolescents, young adults, they want to be right. So when somebody tells them something like, "Oh, hey, you might not be doing this right," or like, "Hey, this is what you got to do," like they don't want to believe that that advice is right. But then when they screw up, they see, okay, now that advice makes sense. But if you never screwed it up, if you never went through that, then like you wouldn't have the lesson learned. And it sounds so cliche, like, oh, like there's no mistakes, there's only opportunity to learn and stuff like that. But that's just something I've come to think. So like whenever somebody's like, "Hey, do you have any advice might only actually work is if somebody's in the middle of a predicament in a situation and then they seek that advice from somebody they know already went through that. Then that's when advice would work. But if you're just casting advice out, or no, like throwing advice out like you're like feeding pigeons or something, it's never gonna stick. It's just, so don't like that. I guess that's another thing. Like if you see somebody about to get into deep water, you can give them that warning, and you can give them that advice, but I guess don't hold it against them, or don't think like, oh my gosh, this person is an idiot because they didn't listen. And I told you. Don't be the I told you guy, because you know you did the same thing. Everybody, I guarantee there's not one person that can say, oh, every piece of advice I've listened to verbatim. No. Everybody's gotten advice that they haven't listened to, and whatever. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to kind of clear that up, try to wrap a bow on that, but I mean, we're like almost 10 minutes in, and that wasn't really that clean of a bow, so we'll move on.
No, Mom, the set didn't go good, okay? Yeah, they said it again. It's so stupid. They say it every time I ask. I don't know. They're such hacks. Like, think of something original. I gotta keep trying it, Mom. All the books I read said to keep trying it. Lasagna? Yeah, okay, it sounds pretty good. Yeah, I'll be home in like 15 minutes. Bye.
So I'll give you guys a little look behind the curtain, a little peek behind the curtain of the Jake and Kevin show process. So when me and Jake think of something funny, or lately just when I've been thinking of something funny, I'll jot it down. And when I say something funny, like a funny idea or a funny premise or like something that could start a bit, so I wrote in my notes, I don't know, a few weeks ago, cowboy boots are high heels for Republicans, because I thought that was like a funny thing. And I don't know what I was doing. Maybe I was whatever scrolling through Instagram, and I see an ad for cowboy boots for some reason. I actually know the reason. So, the new job I started, I needed a specific type of boot, a safety toe boot rated for electrical hazard, for like crush or whatever. It's pretty much just a work boot. But I got a little carried away. I was like, let's see what other kind of boots are out there. So I started looking at boots, Thursday boots, all the various brands, and I got into a really big boot craze. And then yeah, these ads for cowboy boots started popping up, and I'm not a cowboy boot kind of guy. That's cowboy boots. Cowboy boots are, oh my god, there's so many links for cowboy boots. Cowboy boots are like the boss level of like what Carhartt is. Where like Carhartt started as like the blue collar working man gear, and now it's just turned into like this cool like uh frat boy thing. Like cowboy boots are like whatever the highest level of that Carhartt is. That's what cowboy boots are. Anyway, that's not what I was trying to say. So I said cowboy boots are high heels for Republicans, and I thought that was kind of funny because it's like Republicans are all about not wearing high heels if you're a man, probably. But I was thinking about it more, and I said, "What will like? Why did I write that down? Is because because cowboy boots are literally just have huge heels, like 3 inch. Like if you, I was looking at these cowboy boots, and they have like 3 inch heels. They're huge. They make you significantly taller. And I was thinking, oh well, yeah. Like this is a way for guys to get away with wearing high heels to make themselves look taller. And then I was thinking about it like, well, girls don't wear high heels to make them taller. Because I don't think there's really there's not really an incentive and a motivation for a girl to be 3, 4, 5, 6 inches taller. I think the heel is more of like it's well, it's like a traditional thing, but it also, like the angle that it puts your foot at, it like gives you, it's like doing a calf raise for the whole day. So it's like if a guy had a shirt on that was like constantly held their arms like this. It's like it's just makes you look a little bit better, but that's not why guys wear boots, or not. Not that's what I wasn't thinking about. So I think cowboy boots are more like makeup for Republicans, meaning that uh, girls wear makeup to kind of like put like appear like in a certain way, like that they think that they want to look like. I guess that's kind of like high heels too, but it's the like the whole thing, like, oh, like, oh, you should see her without makeup. It's like kind of like, I'm not gonna say a deceitful thing, but like there's definitely girls out there who wear a whole bunch of makeup, and like it's really the only attempt because like they're only doing it because they want flounder in here. I'm trying to keep my feet away from my mouth, but um um yeah, like you're scrolling through Tinder. Sorry guys, you're scrolling through Tinder and you see a girl and all of her pictures, she's just all caked up, and you're like, okay, so this girl's obviously like tr- trying to put herself off in a way that she's not actually, and she's going through a lot of effort to do so. So I think that, and this is something I've noticed recently, and it's probably something I should have known out way before. If you know my vertical situation, my Z plane situation, then you know that this is probably something I should have known about. But I've been thinking about this, and I guarantee, and uh, I guarantee that guys buy and wear shoes based off of how much taller it's going to make them. 100%. And I can confidently say, I can wholeheartedly say that I have never done that. Which is I'm kind of mad about because I should have been doing that. But whenever I put an outfit together, um, I'm trying to make the best, most banging outfit there possibly is. I don't like if it calls for a pair of Converse and it calls for a pair of Converse. If I'm not that much taller, I'm not that much taller. If I gotta stay 5'5", 5'6", I gotta stay 5'5", 5'6". Now if it calls for a pair of Tims, if it calls for a pair of like Air Force Ones or whatever, then maybe I'm a little bit taller that day. Appear a little bit taller. But I I know for a fact there are guys out there that when they're going out, they're picking outfits, they're picking shoes specifically because the shoes have heels on them, and that is wretched. It's, I mean, this like that kind of sentiment where it you like put so much effort into the insecurity. Oh my goodness. I mean, okay, let me think. I feel like it accentuates the insecurity in your own mind when you do stuff like that. Cause it's like, oh, it's all about how you're thinking about it in your head. Cause that's all like insecurities and confidence and like how like you put yourself out towards the world is. Meaning like if you wear a boot and it's got a 2-3 inch heel and you're putting it on like, oh man, this is gonna make me look so much taller. The fact that you had this thought like doesn't matter how much taller you look because you're just like draped in insecurity now. So you got this cool outfit on with your cool boots, but then you just take a tarp of insecurity and just drape it over yourself. I mean, I don't know if you can help thinking that, but you should be doing things because like, oh, this is like you shouldn't be tricking yourself thinking like, oh, this is banging because like this is what other people is gonna think is banging. You should be weren't doing things. I think I've said this like 4 or 5 times in the. Okay, cowboy boots are makeup for Republicans, and then yeah, Air Maxes are makeup for just regular guys, whatever. Got, shoes with shoes with deceptively big heels are just makeup for guys. For real. And just because you wear shoes with heels doesn't mean that you're insecure. Just because you wear makeup doesn't mean that you're insecure if you're a girl. It's the reason you're wearing it. Understand? Okay. That was supposed to be a funny bit, but it turned into like a rant. Damn. Yeah, it's just this show has just really lost its luster without Jake, huh? I don't know. I I I I there was a point last week when I truly believed that uh me and Jake would band together one more time for at least one finale episode, but at this point I just might have to just I don't know. Just kind of the future of the Jake and Kevin show seems bleak for sure. Okay. Let's pick it up. So, this is going to be the callback episode. So last week I was talking about, oh, we're going to move to the city. We've been thinking about moving to the city. We went to the Cubs game to fill you guys in. We went to the Cubs game and I was like, oh, like, wouldn't it be nice if we lived in the city? And we're like, oh, yeah, we could all live in the city. So we went on some tours for apartments. And we're really trying to speed this thing up because, to be honest, living at home is okay, but living by myself was just so much better. I just felt better. I like the there's a certain character, like there's a certain like trait or whatever in my DNA where I just need pressure. I've always needed it. If I'm writing a paper, I need the pressure of the deadline, the impending doom. I need that pressure. And I'm not saying that I'm clutch in that pressure. I'm not pressure or pressure. I'm not saying that I'm clutch in that pressure. I'm not saying, oh yeah, I need that pressure because then I turn into Kobe in that. No, I'm just saying that I will have zero motivation unless I have that pressure, or what appears to be zero motivation. I mean, I just have so much more motivation when it's just like, okay, you need to do this. Obviously, I think a lot of people have that. But yeah, when I'm by myself and I need to make food, or when I'm by myself, it just seems like I make better decisions for me when I'm by myself and I don't have the comfort of or the safety net. I don't like the safety net is what I'm really trying to say. What I was getting to is we went on tours for this apartment and we're driving through Chicago. I'm not gonna tell you what part, just Chicago in general. And dude, I know Chicago's an old city. It's been around for what is it, 2022? I mean, it was definitely around 1922. Jeez. When was Chicago established? Like, let's say 1870. It's been around for a long time. Chicago's an old city. The thing that I do not like about Chicago and the thing I do not like about old cities is that they're old and they don't work. Old cities don't work, dude. Like, almost not at all. I came to an intersection and it was a street and then another street. And you're like, oh, Kevin, that's a normal intersection. It's just two streets intersecting, and then a third street going through the middle of those. You're like, oh, okay, well that's kind of odd, but that could still happen. You could have a three-way intersection, and then another street coming in, and just dead ends in the middle of the intersection. How was this ever? How did this ever pass anything? Did this work? I mean, the only way this would have worked is if, like, I can't even see that working in horse and buggy days. That's terrible. I don't. It'd have to be like three horses on the street and the rest is just people walking. But I don't know. Isn't that so weird that they had like roads graveled out in 1895, and then as the city progressed, I mean, I guess because it's a slow thing, but now it's turning into like fully paved streets with streetlights and crosswalks and stores all around, and it's still this mosh pit. And now it's with cars and trucks and bikes. So it's safe to say that if I move to the city, or when I move to the city, because I think I'm have my heart set on it, it would take a lot for me not to move to the city at this point. I'm not bringing a car. I'll boogie board. I will rollerblade everywhere. I'm not. And here's the thing: I don't even mind. I don't even mind driving too much, and I don't even mind city driving. I've kind of gotten used to it, the aggressiveness. But before, I was more of like a passive driver. Like, okay, I'll get out of your way, whatever. You can what like we're all like I'll get there eventually. But I mean, in the city driving, you have to be an a hole. You have to take what's yours, and it's exhausting. So, and the thing is, like, I work in the city, so I don't need a car. Like, would it be nice to drive 7 minutes to work? Yes, but also I could just take a bus. I could just take like one of those bikes or something. It'll be fine. It seems like it'll be so much better. I watched a movie. Here's the thing about me. I'm not a big Netflix guy. I don't really keep up on movies. I don't really keep up on shows. I probably have a laundry list of things that I gotta watch. Uh, like Breaking Bad on Netflix. Watched it years ago. Got to the last season. There's probably 4 episodes left, and I just stopped watching it. I was always like, okay, I gotta finish that eventually. Or like Ozark, Stranger Things. I just I don't know why, but I'll watch a show and I'll love it. It'd be like, oh my god, this show was so good. Jason Bateman he's he's like one of the masters of uh comedic acting in dramatic roles. It's just like like I loved Ozark, the Ozarks. I don't. Sorry about that. No, so what I was saying is I love the Ozarks. I love Stranger Things. So like people recommend me shows, people recommend me movies, and I was like, oh dude, I'll watch that, and I just never do. And it's just I don't know why. I just don't. I don't care. I'd rather do the other things. There's something about yeah, I don't know. Feels like nice to unwind, but I can't. Maybe it's I don't know. I don't know. But I recently watched a movie, which is like not in the norm for me. So I watched this movie, uh, Wrath of Man. It's like Jason Statham. It's on Netflix. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. Another like Guy Ritchie movie is The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey, and then also Snatch, which I haven't seen. People have been like, I've been being hounded to watch Snatch, and I actually kind of worked myself up to do it, and took it off Netflix. So I watched The Wrath of Man instead. And the no, and another reason like I don't watch movies because this movie wasn't good. It like had all the pieces to be a good movie, and I mean I know like you gotta roll the dice, you gotta live a little bit, but I mean how bad does it feel when you watch a bad movie? But it's not bad enough to like, oh, that was a bad movie, like that was really bad. Uh, like another movie we watched recently was Escape Room, and Escape Room is pretty much like like the escape rooms that they have in like strip malls and stuff. It was like that, but like a scary movie. Like, oh, there's like this game master, and he put together this escape room, but it kills you, and it was just a bad movie. It was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous, but entertaining. So I was like, okay, that's a good bad movie because you can like make fun of it while you watch it because nobody cares, nobody's enthralled by the plot, so you can like talk over it. But this movie was bad, but it was it was it you didn't realize it was bad until the very end, and that was bad. No, it had all the pieces. It had a cool director. I liked The Gentleman. I've heard good things about Snatch. So Guy Ritchie, I was like, okay, it's a cool director. Jason Statham is he's a he's just a he's just like your stereotypical badass. Like it's gonna be a cool movie. And the movie was like trying to do the Pulp Fiction thing where it like jump around times, but then it just got too convoluted. The plot like I'm sure it made sense, but you'd have to think. It was one of those plots where you had to think about it, but it wasn't like good enough to be. It wasn't like conceptual at all. It was just confusing, so it wasn't that good. Post Malone was in it. Uh, and they killed Post Malone in the trailer of the movie, and then he dies in the first scene of the movie. It's like I mean, yeah. Also, what's with movies? And I don't really care about like ruining things. And I know that they're trying to get people to watch it, but there's something so dumb about blowing your load on the trailer. Meaning you put the I mean, I'm not saying the first scene wasn't the most banging part, but if you're gonna have like if you're gonna have like a huge cameo like Post Malone, uh, why would you like? Why would you? I guess. I mean, he was kind of a side character. He was literally in there for one scene. But and I guess that this isn't even an example. But when movies like like their best jokes in the trailer, or they give away like the best stuff in the trailer. There's some trailers I watch and I'm like, I don't even need to see the movie anymore. I just watched the whole movie. I got everything I needed from the trailer. I'm good. Do better, guys. Um, did you guys listen to Post Malone's new album? I so here's something that I'll admit. I don't think, and this is probably most albums that I really like now, but I don't think I've ever loved a Post Malone album on the first listen. Because it started with Stony, and Stony was a little bit different than his like mixtape and SoundCloud stuff. So when I first listened to it, I was like, okay, this is I don't know how I feel about this, but then I eventually loved it. And then next theme, Beer Bongs and Bentleys, and it was a little bit more pop than even Stony was. Uh, but as I listened to it, and it was like in the summer, and it was like a good vibe, and I liked it. And then Hollywood's Bleeding, and that was probably one where I like kind of it. Maybe it's because I went into it like, okay, like I know Posty isn't gonna disappoint, but I had a good feeling about that one. And then I kind of saw like I went in that one with a good feeling, and no, yeah, that album was really good. there's some bangers on that album. There's some really good songs. I like the kind of the sequencing, and then what 12 Carat Toothache, and like the singles were kind of banging. It was like One Right Now with The Weekend, and then Cooped Up with Roddy Rich. I was like, okay, these kind of banging singles, but like, let's see what the rest of the album is gonna be like. And the intro song was good. It was a good intro song. It was a solid intro song, and then it transitioned right into Cooped Up, and then the third song, Lemon Tree, just comes out as a straight banger. Because so if Lemon Tree came out on Stony, it would have been the same thing where it's like, oh, I don't know if I like Post Malone. Like I haven't heard Post Malone, and even though that's his element, it's kind of like the slow guitar country stuff. Like that's kind of how he started. Like, but now that I know like Post Malone's like about he's a man jack of all trades. Lemon Tree kind of I was like already ready for it, and some people it's very controversial. This is one word, but the way he sings better, 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 like kind of like that, like little like country twang, that little Billy Goat roll. I like that. That's my favorite part of the song. That's like what instantly clicked when I first heard it. I was like, okay, this song's a banger. And then he's got he's got like some pop songs on there. He's got it's whatever. It's a but like the more I listen to it, I just like the vibe of the album. And you could just like put the album on, and like I do a lot of driving, and like you just put the album on, or like I've worked out to it, and it just like flows nice, and it's just like a nice, it's like a nice vibe throughout, and it just like it like goes up and down, and it has like a good, it's an album. I feel like not a lot of people these days, and I mean not a lot of people have the production and backing that Post Malone has to make an album, but not a lot of people make albums anymore where it's a cohesive like composition of songs. And I kind of like there are songs that maybe are like were forced in there, but there's a lot of stuff with like nice transitions, or there's like callbacks to like lyrics on previous songs, and like yeah, no, I really like the album. The I'm a I got really big into just like listening to albums through, because before I used to just like pick like the banging songs and listen to them all, but now I really like if I'm gonna go work out, I'll play just an album start to finish and just listen to it that way. But it's got to be a banging, like I'm trying to think who the first person like Kendrick Lamar had really good cohesive albums, and I think he still does. I listened to his new one a little bit. It was pretty good. Uh but I think I noticed it the most. I first noticed it and I was like, okay, I like that on I want to say Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight, like Travis Scott's album. And then Astroworld did it crazy good. And that's something that people kind of slept on. Uh Maybe because like Travis was bigger and people like to like remember we talked about a couple episodes ago there's haters and hype beasts. It's like people like to hate on things, but the transition, if you go back and listen to the transitions in Astroworld and the sequencing is crazy good. It's a good album. But yeah, that's what I like about Post Malone's album, and I love Post Malone. I don't think there's nothing that Post Malone will put out that'll ever make me like him less, or even like that I'll ever say is bad. Just because, I mean, he just he's just the man. Um, I mean, it's kind of all I got, guys. This is I know this was another lackluster episode. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe, I mean, this definitely doesn't help. But those Kirkland Colombian cold brew coffees that I had I ran out of them, and we went to Costco to get more. Not giving anything away, or it's Kirkland brand. Um, they're gone. So remember I was saying, hey, I don't want to plug these. They're bad because then they'll sell out. We went to Costco, none left. So thanks, guys. And I remember I said I'll be happy if they sell out because that means this episode's doing bad, and there's no other reasons for them selling out besides that. That means this podcast is reaching the millions, the masses. But good job, guys. You did it. So now we get lackluster episode until they get back in stock because I've gone through. This is my third day without caffeine, cold turkey. And I know you could say like, oh, why don't you go Starbucks and get a coffee? Why don't you go to Dunkin' and get a coffee? I'm trying to save up money to move out, guys, and the thing that Gary Vee always tells you is that you don't spend $4 on a coffee. What you do is you go to a garage sale and you buy coffee at the garage sale. Sometimes they have free coffee. Actually, Gary Vee, you don't spend $4 on a coffee. You make your own coffee. That's still spending money. How about this, guys? I'll leave you with this little tidbit to get you some free coffee so you don't spend that $4 on Starbucks coffee every day. Save you some money. You start drinking heavy. Get just by yourself too. Just get real liquored up every night. And you keep going at that hard for, I don't know, anywhere from a month to 6 months until you really really feel bad about yourself. And then when you feel like you've hit your lowest point, you start going to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and you become sober. And the reason I bring this up is because what do they have at AA meetings? Coffee. Free coffee. So if you guys want to save money on coffee, become an alcoholic, go to AA meetings, get their coffee, boom, free. And then the more you go to the meetings, the more coffee you get, the more help you get with your alcoholism. I mean, I just saved the episode with that. I hope you guys made it to the end to hear that golden nugget of advice. I'll catch you in the next one next week.